Welcome to Wednesday Web Chat. This is Carl Lewis, your host from Vision 33. Today, our topic is 10 ways to take care of yourself while sheltering at home. It's a proactive way of taking care of yourself, both physically and mentally, and being sure our well-being is cared for as we all work from home. First up, exercise. That's idea number one. I want to get it up and out of the way really quickly so we don't have to talk about it anymore. No matter how you look at it, staying active is really important under normal circumstances, and it's probably more important during these unusual circumstances to stay as active as we can. Exercise really helps us with so many things. Weight management, controls disease, it controls stress, it helps us sleep. Just our general overall health really makes it a valuable thing to do. And actually, exercising indoors is not a terrible thing and may be beneficial in some ways because now we have our children at home and we need to watch them, so we can't really do some of the things we might have been able to do at the gym. But there's lots of options. So let's talk about what some of those options are. If you don't have an exercise bike or a treadmill or something like that in your home that you can use, you can walk up and down stairs. This is a really easy way to get great exercise, and I encourage you not to run necessarily up and down the stairs with your socks on and slip and fall, but walking up and down the stairs can be good exercise if you have a home that has stairs in it. If you don't have a home with stairs in it, there's just a bunch of aerobics that you can do, and there's all kinds of actual classes on YouTube that you can dial into and follow right along. Helps, of course, if you've got a little bit of an open space in your family room or something like that, or your living room, but you can certainly do that in a house, an apartment, just about any size dwelling that you want to. And of course, old-fashioned calisthenics, sit-ups, crunches, push-ups, jumping jacks, pull-ups, chin-ups, squats. And if you're familiar with that exercise and you like to do them with weights, you can use canned foods for weights, jumping rope, a dumbbell row, and you can use milk jugs for weights if you want to. That 1 gallon milk jug is actually 8 pounds of water. And for other weights, you can use other water bottles if you don't have actual weights, if you want to do exercises with weights. And of course, you want to choose some exercises that aren't going to irritate your neighbors if you're in an apartment complex, of course. You got a little more freedom if you have a house and a yard. You can walk around the pool. This is something my wife does. We have a pretty large pool in the backyard, and she walks around the pool deck several times. You can also walk around your backyard. Just be careful if you're doing that, that you don't step on a sprinkler head and sprain your ankle like somebody I know did. And of course, if in your area you can still get out, you can walk or run in the park if you have access to that. And cleaning the house happens to be really good exercise. So don't neglect that either. And of course, stretching. And just to let you know that at Vision 33, we have about 3 of them for different time zones, but we actually have a virtual morning stretch. So someone in our office kind of leads everyone through. It's a rather good size virtual meeting just for the purpose of getting in a morning stretch. So there's lots of ideas and things you can do to keep up exercise as a way of taking care of yourself during these days when we can't be with one another. Secondly, I encourage you to protect your mental health, which is obviously really important. Maintain a routine is a really good idea, just to be sure that you're not just half-heartedly going through the day, but you really are kind of up at the right time, have breakfast at the right time, hit the office at the right time, the home office that is, and take lunch when it's appropriate, and do all of those things to just maintain a routine. Take reasonable precautions and stay informed, but don't go overboard, right? Use the reliable sources we all know about by now, CDC, Johns Hopkins, the IHME report, to get your news, but don't listen to it all day long by any means. That's not going to be helpful. Get yourself going is another suggestion. Don't let yourself get bogged down, with just feeling negative. And it's easy to do when we're all shut up. And I don't know about you, but I'm on about my 5th week of this working from home and only getting out when absolutely necessary. And it certainly does get one down at times. But just kind of get going. You feel better once you get started. If you're having trouble sleeping, the experts say not to fixate on the sleep. Watch TV, read a book, listen to music, let sleep come on more naturally, but don't fixate on it and just lie there in the dark. Get up and do something first. Stick to consistent meal times, of course. Make life as normal as it can possibly be. This is really great also if you have children. They count on it. They look forward to it. And be sure that you proactively ensure that your medications and any other emergency type supplies are adequate. And if they aren't, take action to update them as soon as you can. So you just don't know how long we're going to be in this state, and you don't want to presume anything about your medications or whatnot. So start working on it today. Consider meditation to just protect your mental health. There are lots of places you can go on the internet to kind of listen to and go through a little short meditation exercise. That can be very helpful to your overall mental outlook. And lastly, I encourage you to be kind to yourself. Don't judge yourself because you're having trouble getting through things. Believe me, there are many of us that are anxious each and every day right now. So be kind to yourself and don't be negative about the fact that you're having a struggle in this predicament we all find ourselves in. Number 3 is to stay informed, but take a break from the news. Be mindful of your patterns and how much TV and social media you're taking your time looking at and replying to. Change the way you consume the news. If you've been a person who really consumes the news, on social media and on your phone, change it up. Maybe listen to the radio and get it a different way than you have in the past. Plan your breaks and totally unplug. So when you go to do your exercise, leave your phone on the desk and go do your exercise. Walk around the backyard and don't worry about your email or texting or anything else that's going on. Just get your walk in. Seek out some perspective. It's important that you and we and I and all of us talk, share our feelings. And at Vision 33, we have an employee assistance program, EAP. Many employers do, and it's a great place that if you feel like you just need to talk to someone, reach out to your employee assistance program for some help. Give to a cause that you care about. I find that this actually makes me feel good. It's that old saying, it's more blessed to give than receive. And so I find that when I reach out and help somebody, it does help me feel better. And I encourage you to find a cause that you care about locally. Take the time to get involved and support their work. Take care of yourself. Sleep and exercise. Purposefully connect with other people. And let go. None of us are in control. You can't control everything about this as much as you might want to try and make it a perfect experience. It's not going to be a perfect experience. So just let go and realize that there aren't any of us in control, and you don't need to be either. Number 4, socialize, and with the caveat that it needs to be a virtual socialization experience, right? So here's some ideas for you. You could join or start a virtual book club, and you read a book, and 3 or 4 of your friends join together to talk about the book on a weekly or more often basis. Plan a virtual dinner party. You, your significant other, husband, wife, roommate, whatever it is, get 2 other people to have dinner at the same time and virtually kind of have a conversation while you're having dinner at your own tables. Seems like a lot of people are doing that these days. You could suggest a virtual wine and cheese reception at work. We've done a couple of these at Vision 33. They were big hits. As I said, we have multiple ones of them. And I think at least one person I could probably rest assured in saying that they attended all 3. So they can be very popular and can really help to kind of reconnect with people. And if you have a company the size of like Vision 33, you may even meet some people for the first time by doing this. So it's a great experience. Check on your neighborhood Facebook page. My current neighborhood, I don't know that it has a Facebook page, but my previous neighborhood did. And it was a great place to kind of keep track of what was going on with the neighborhood, with the association perhaps, and just with the neighbors and what was going on for them. You can take a virtual tour and you can do it with others. So you can go to like Google Arts and Culture and you'll find places like zoos and museums and even, tours of other countries and things like that. It's a great way to socialize and share your experience with other people. Add some structure, however, to your virtual happy hours and your virtual meetings. This prevents basically domination by, one person, one character. If you're ever at a real live face-to-face reception, if there's someone that's there that you don't enjoy or is taking up too much space in the room, whatever it may be, you can move away from them. Well, you don't have that option in a virtual meeting. They're just kind of there with you. All you can do is leave. But if you have an agenda of something everyone's supposed to do and everyone's supposed to share and get a turn, you take back control of that. And it's not just the dominant personalities that will do so. So you could have each person bring a joke, a poem, a picture, or video, and go through and have everyone share before someone takes over the whole meeting. And be sure to talk on the phone. I give everyone this advice, including myself. Call your mother. She appreciates it. And I have done that, by the way, and owe her another one soon. And call your best friend from years ago and just reconnect. So be sure to do things that sort of fill that gap of socialization that we all need during these days. Number 5 is listen to music. How important could this be? Music improves our happiness. Music improves our performance. Music decreases stress. It improves our sleep. It reduces depression even. And it helps us to eat less. It elevates our mood, strengthens learning and memory, and increases our intelligence. Music raises our IQ and academic performance. And you may not want to have multiple types of music playing in your house, so I encourage you, if you are doing that, to maybe don a pair of headphones and listen to music while you work. It's a good thing. And listen to music while you rest. Listen to music, while you read a book. There's all kinds of ways to take advantage of listening to music as being a way to take care of your mental health. Declutter. This one's kind of personal for me because I'm a bit of a neatnik. Everybody in my family would tell you that for sure. And I've got some suggestions for those of you that might want to declutter because you're feeling uncomfortable with how things are accumulating around you. And this is easy to have it occur after about 5 weeks of working from home when you're not used to it. I think it's important that you know this stuff personally and ask yourself, why do things pile up in the first place? It may not be you. It may be a partner. And that's a little harder to deal with, but I still think there's ways to do it. You can ask yourself 3 questions. Do I truly need it? Do I truly adore it? Or would I trade inner peace for it? So maybe it's none of those and you can get rid of it completely. Do the 10-minute declutter exercise, or what another author has called the trash bag tango. Just take a trash bag, one of those kitchen trash bags, and walk around the house and grab everything in sight that's trash and put it in the bag and get rid of it. It's a quick little exercise to just sort of get rid of that first layer of clutter, if you know what I mean. You can manage your paper trail. Be sure that you're not just hanging on to copies of stuff that you really don't need. It'll clutter up your desk and make it difficult to work. So try to go paperless as much as you can, right? You can commit to a decluttering routine, which is basically kind of finishing every task to its completion. So, if you are, folding or doing the laundry, once it's out of the dryer, just don't put it in a basket someplace. Go ahead and fold it and put it away so the clothes and the basket and everything's back where they belong. So just finish all of those chores all the way. Another thing I read says that you could memorize the acronym FAST, FAST. First is fix a time. Second is get rid of anything that's not been used in 12 months. Third is, if it's someone else's stuff, put it in a box and get it back to them as soon as you can. And then there's trash. Get rid of that too. So you can just sort of have these sorting bins like you see in the illustration here. Some things need to get thrown out. Some things need to get put away. Some things need to get recycled. Do what's appropriate for everything that's just sort of cluttering up the place. Part with unnecessary memory clutter. You may be trying to work in a space that was once occupied by a lot of memories. Don't throw those out, but put them in a box and store them. And when we all get to go back to our normal experience, we can bring them back out and see them anytime we like. So part with them for the time being, but don't discard them. They're too important. Purge your closet. One author I read had a great idea where you could take all the clothes in your closet and turn the hangers around so that they, the open end of the hanger pointed towards you. And then as you wore them, do this for a whole year now, as you wore them, you would hang them back up after you've worn them, wash them, of course, and the hanger would go the other way with the, the closed end out facing towards you. And at the end of the year, anything that was on a hanger that was facing towards you, you could get rid of because you hadn't actually worn it in a year's time. I could probably still get rid of about a third of the stuff in my closet if I actually did that, I would imagine. Some of it's just there for emergency, or if I ever do travel to a really cold climate where I need a parka, I have one. But there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm just hanging on to for I'm not sure what reason. So that's a good thing to do. You can try the 1 month box test for kitchen clutter. If you're like our house, we have all kinds of kitchen gadgets. They're kind of organized across 3 or 4 different drawers, but I often wonder, do we ever use them? So this one idea I read about last week was to take a box and put all that stuff in a box in your kitchen, and then for a month, maybe 2, you could go 3 if you wanted to. Every time you needed one of those tools, you would get it out of the box to use it, and then after you washed it and everything, you'd put it back in the drawer where it belonged. But at the end of whatever time period you select, all the stuff that's in the box that you didn't need for a month, 2 months, 3 months, that's eligible to get rid of and free up a lot of space in your kitchen drawers, I'll bet. And just put everything in its place. It's amazing to me how often in my own home I can find things like forks where they don't belong because somebody has, taken something someplace else in the house, had a snack, and then not really cleaned up after themselves adequately. So put everything in its place. Everything has a place. Number 7, learn something on purpose. This is a really good thing to do to kind of take care of yourself, especially when we've got, what should be a little extra time on our hands because we're not commuting back and forth to the office. So whether that was a 15-minute commute or an hour commute, we've got at least 30 minutes and maybe 2 hours of extra time that we used to have to spend in the automobile doing things. And many of us did things during that period of time, like listen to books and things like that. So another idea with that extra time, now that it's in the home and not on the road, is you could learn something on purpose, like another language, woodworking. You can learn to play the guitar, photography. If you've got a camera and you've never learned how to use it or want to learn how to use it better, go to Master Photography Skills. You can search for them on the internet, and there's lots of lessons there. And for guitar, Justin Guitar is the one that I particularly have learned to like. And I like it because he's got a British accent and he's kind of got a good sense of humor. Basic home repairs is a good thing to do now if you have access to hardware stores still. Some areas do. And you can go to DIY, Do It Yourself Pete, and he's got all kinds of helps on basic home repairs. Basic car repairs. I love YouTube. I've learned to do many things on my little sports car that I have all by myself just from watching YouTube videos. And almost any kind of car you have, whatever problem you have, somebody has been proud enough about their ability to fix it that they've taped it for you and made it available. You can garden. Lots of people are putting in their own little victory garden these days and plan to do that. We do at my house as well. We've got a bunch of plants started in the sun in the bedroom right now, and they're going to be transferred to the garden very soon. I would love to be able to cook like a pro. And if I had the time and the wherewithal, I might take a class on the art of wok stir frying because I've always loved that type of a meal, but I really am not good at the whole stir frying thing. So I could use some instruction, and this would be a good time to do it. And if you have a piano in your home and you want to learn how to play it or play it better, the Piano for All course is out there on the internet and would be a great thing to check out. And there's always, of course, dancing. Now, I'm not going to tell you why it's last on my list, but it certainly isn't the first thing I think of. But I know my wife would love for me to take some dance lessons because that is not in my skill set at the current time. I encourage you to, number 8, cut through the hype and the hysteria and just do the basics, especially as it relates to the coronavirus situation. Right? So we don't want to fall prey to the sensationalism that's out there. There's certainly a lot of it, and the more news you listen to, the more of that you get. Just follow the CDC and the WHO recommendations, the World Health Organization, right? Recommendations. Just do your part. Frequently washing our hands for 20 seconds at a time, covering our mouth and the bend of our elbow and the bend of our elbow when we cough or sneeze, or using a tissue. Maintain a distance of 6 feet apart. Wear a face covering when you go out, if you go out. I encourage you, by the way, if you have to go for like groceries or something, not to make it a family outing. I've been rather concerned by that in recent days as I've had to go out where I know people are feeling very shuttered in, but it makes it very difficult to maintain 6 feet away from one another if a family brings, 4 or 5 people because they're allowed to go to the grocery store. Listen to and follow state and local authorities, of course, because things change from region to region. If you feel sick, stay home and contact your medical provider. If your children are sick, keep them home and contact your medical provider. If anyone in your household is tested positive, just keep everyone at home. And if you're an older American, I qualify in case you don't know me that well, stay home and stay away from others is the best advice we can give. And if you are a person with a serious underlying health condition, you also should stay home and stay away from other people. And I might make a suggestion that all of us could use. If you're of the mind to, offer up a prayer. The country, your neighbors, your friends, your family, they can all use one. Next is to do something that we call practice mindfulness and acceptance. And it's a difficult concept to get totally, but I found a really nice little illustration that I'm going to share with you today. And it's on its way here.
There's a story, usually attributed to the Native American tradition, which illuminates different ways of paying attention. An elder, talking to a child, says, "I have 2 wolves fighting in my heart. One wolf is fearful, vengeful, envious, resentful, and deceitful. The other wolf is compassionate, loving, generous, truthful, and peaceful." The child asks, "Which wolf will win the fight?" The elder responds, "The one I feed." That doesn't mean we try to deny or hurt or kill the angry wolf. If we did that, we'd end up in a long battle, all the while somehow making that wolf more powerful through our hostility and fear. Hating that wolf sucks the strength right out of us. Instead, we calmly pay attention to the angry wolf and let go of believing they have the answers. If we can do that, they end up lying down next to us, no longer an enemy. We help strengthen the kind and loving wolf, giving it nourishment and support so that we can follow it. That peaceful wolf can become our steady companion and show us the way through all kinds of different life experiences. Restful or chaotic, enjoyable or disappointing experiences may come and go, but we can have a guide with us through it all. This is what mindfulness can help you do. Mindfulness allows us to see our thoughts and feelings as they are beginning. It's very powerful to know what we're feeling as we're feeling it, know what we're thinking as we're thinking it. With mindfulness, we can choose what will strengthen and bring into action, and we can choose what we will gently let go of. We don't have to be at the mercy of old habits or old ways of thinking or old ways of being. We are empowered. It just takes practice.
So that's a little bit about mindfulness and acceptance. And I hope that you get the chance to just kind of think about things before you launch into them. Seems like good advice. And lastly, number 10, I would encourage you to reconnect with the things that you enjoy, whatever they might be. Remember the good feelings and emotions that they elicit and give you, and go back to them. Do it daily, just for a few minutes at the start. Maybe you haven't picked up that old guitar in years. This is a great time to do it, and just play a few minutes a day. That's all your fingers are going to be able to take anyway, I imagine, but it's a good way to get started one more time. Schedule time for it, and don't let anything interrupt it. It's your time, and reconnect with it. You might want to invest in it. Let's say that old guitar hasn't been played in a while and the strings are a little dull. You can order a new set of strings online and give it a nice, bright new sound. Join a Facebook group for guitar players if you like, or anything else. Take an online class. There's a lot to choose from. And I hope that this little bit of presentation about 10 things you can do to take care of yourself while you're sheltering at home was helpful. Over the last couple of weeks, I went to many places and did some research and kind of pulled together the best of the ideas I could find. And that's how we came up with that. And hopefully you can pull something out of there just for you. Please know that we're thinking of you at Vision 33 and your families. and we encourage you to please stay safe until we can see you once again. Thank you for being here for Wednesday Web Chat, and we'll see you again soon.